Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. So today I've got an unboxing of the King's Empire Allegiance box from Wyrd Miniatures' new game, The Other Side. If this is your first time here, thanks very much for watching. Why not consider clicking the subscribe button to make sure that you don't miss any of the 5 uploads I do every week. Now you might know Wyrd Miniatures from one of their other games, Malifaux, which has been hugely popular and is about to enter into its 3rd edition, but this is a brand new game. It's set in the same world as Malifaux, however the two games are completely separate. Now the story to The Other Side is actually really interesting, especially if you're a fan of Malifaux. So as you'll know from the Malifaux story, basically there is a breach opens, a portal opens on the Earth, and people can travel through from the Earth to Malifaux itself, which is a very kind of strange and mysterious place where magic exists and there are all kinds of weird creatures. The Other Side, unsurprisingly, focuses on what happens on the other side of the breach. Now there are 4 main factions in The Other Side. There's Abyssinia, there is the King's Empire, and then from the Malifaux side of things, there is the Cult of the Burning Man and also the Gibbering Hordes. There's also a couple of mercenary factions as well that will either take the side of the King's Empire and Abyssinia and try and defend the Earth, or will take the side of the Malifaux inhabitants. As the story goes, the different factions around the world are on the brink of a world war, and just before that's about to start, there is a breach opens coming through from Malifaux into the Earth, and all manner of creatures come over from the other side. That means these factions have to try and fend off the inhabitants of Malifaux, whilst also trying to defend themselves from the other competing factions around the world. Now whilst this box is called an Allegiance box, you could probably call it a one-player starter set. Included, you get 28 pre-assembled single-piece plastic miniatures that are all very nicely detailed, and we'll get plenty of shots of those through this video. You also get all of the bases that you need to play the game. So interestingly, in this game, the miniatures come on each of their own individual bases, but then what happens is you will then place them almost into a circular movement tray, and this is then your 3-person fire team. Your commander then also comes on their larger base, and all of those are included with the set. You also get some King's Empire landmine templates that are relevant for this particular faction. You also get some objective tokens, and you get a double-sided token sheet here, which have tactics, reinforcements, inspired tokens, shaken tokens, and pinned tokens. Also included is a fate deck. Now for those of you not familiar with Malifaux, both Malifaux and The Other Side don't work with dice. They actually work with a deck of cards. Now this deck of cards is just like any normal deck of cards with 52 different cards in there plus 2 jokers. However, the suits have been changed for the theme of Malifaux and The Other Side. In this deck, you find the suits are rams, crows, masks and tomes. There's also a red joker and a black joker, the red joker being very positive, the black joker being very negative. Also included is a nice little tape measure with the Other Side logo on. It's not something that you would normally get in this kind of set. You'd either get sort of plastic measuring sticks or something like that, but it's nice that they've included this. It's on a little keyring too, so it could quite easily just kind of hang from your gaming bag. You also get all of the stat cards, the stratagem cards, and the asset cards that you'll need for this particular set. There's the stat card for your leader, Charles Edmonton. There's the stat cards for the Royal Rifle Corps, and there's also the stat card for the infiltrators. Now assets and stratagems essentially have a point cost, so you can spend them a little bit like command points, I guess, in 40k, and they can give benefits and buffs to your army. Now the miniatures themselves are really detailed sculpts, and if you've ever struggled to put together some of the Malifaux plastics, you'll be really pleased to know that these are all pre-assembled. There are a few mould lines on the miniatures, which is not too bad and to be expected with plastics. However, some of the barrels of the guns are a little bit bent, but nothing that isn't sorted with a bit of hot water, as I've tried myself just to make sure. Now in this set, you get your commander model, Charles Edmonton, who's the sniper with the rifle on a stand. You also get 18 miniatures for the Royal Rifle Corps, and those 18 models are split across 5 different sculpts. That's enough to give you 6 of these fire teams. And lastly, you get 9 infiltrators, which is enough to give you 3 fire teams. And again, they are split across 5 different sculpts. The bases themselves are all very nice and all come with the Other Side branding on the bottom. The tokens themselves are really, really good quality. They are only cardboard, sadly. However, the quality of it is really good. They're nice and thick. very sturdy and much thicker than any cardboard tokens I think I've seen in any starter sets. You can get Fate decks with faction specific designs on them, and it would have been nice to see it in this box, but I guess that's one way that Wyrd are trying to keep you purchasing into the future. There are other command models and units available for each of these factions. However, from what I understand, there's enough inside this box to enable you to have a starter game and to really get your head around the rules. Now, the rules are available as a full book, which includes a lot of background into the other side. However, if you just want to look into the game, all of the stat cards and all of the rules are available as free PDFs on the Wyrd site, and I'll link down to those in the description if you want to go and check them out. Each faction also has a large-scale Titan model, which really does dominate the battlefield, and I'm sure will be really powerful in game too. The game itself plays on a 6x4 playing surface, which is probably a bit larger than most games these days, as there's definitely been a bit of a shift to skirmish style. However, you don't need the amount of models that you would normally do for a full-scale army game. The game also recommends that you use quite light terrain, so it won't cost you much to get a table ready to play. As for the aesthetics of the game and the miniatures themselves, I actually quite like them. It doesn't specifically say when this timeline is set for the other side, but judging by the miniatures, I can imagine it's a late 1800s, early 1900s timeline, and you have a bit of a mixture of almost World War I era soldier uniforms, along with some kind of Western cowboy type themes. I like the look of the Abyssinia faction, which is designed around an African nation, and essentially the background to those is that there was a breach opened into Malifaux many years ago that they kept quiet about and didn't tell anybody, and they were going through and getting soul stones, which made them a very powerful nation. The Cult of the Burning Man aesthetic is very different from stuff I've seen in other games, and I quite like that weird kind of sort of preachery worshipper type cult. And for me, the Gibbering Hordes is probably the faction I like the least, not because they're badly done, just because it's not my style aesthetic that I like. These Allegiance boxes have a recommended retail price in the UK of £68, and I think that's probably about right. You're getting quite a lot in the box here. You're getting all of the stat cards, you're getting 28 miniatures with the bases, and you're getting all the tokens and the Fate deck to enable you to start up and play this game. The rules being free online as well also means that you don't have to fork out for the rulebook until you've actually given it a real go. The rulebook I'd recommend, as my experience of playing Malifaux, the background and the stories really are fantastic and very thematic. So from reading through the rules and looking at the miniatures themselves, this is actually a game I'd quite like to give a try to. The 6x4 play area may be a little bit big, but I think if I'm going to start with just a couple of starter factions like this, a 4x4 will probably be enough to find out whether it's something I want to grow. So if you want to see more of the other side on this channel, please let me know down in the comments. So then folks, the other side. Is this something that you're interested in? Did you back the Kickstarter in 2016 and have been patiently waiting for it to deliver? Do you think 6x4 games have had their day now and 4x4 would have been a better size for it? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.